Hello everyone, and welcome to the 35th episode of the Rabe Creations podcast. My name's Nicole, and I'm coming to you as always from my home here in Calgary, Alberta in Canada, where I live with my husband Barry and my wonderful rescued Rottweiler named Grace. So, it's been a little while since I've done a crochet catch-up with you, and I have lots going on, lots to share with you. So today, on today's episode, I would like to talk to you a little bit about some of the finished makes that I have for my upcoming craft fairs and whatnot, as well as some big life updates. I'll save the life updates for later on and get straight into the crochet because I know that's what you're here for. So before we start, I do want to say a big heartfelt welcome to all of my returning subscribers and to those people who view all of my videos as I put them out. Thank you so much. Your support means the world to me. I'm so glad you've come to spend some time with me again today. And we have had a number of new subscribers. So welcome to all the new people as well. I hope you stick around. I hope you enjoy what goes on here. It's not the biggest channel, but I hope I'm sharing content that everyone is finding interesting and worthwhile. All right, so speaking of content and worthwhile, just one more thing before we get to any of the crochet goodness. I have released one video and will be continuing to release videos on this same channel that are in reference to my adventures with natural dyeing. So if that's something that you have been interested in or are curious about, tune into those videos as well. I am breaking them up just because, I think asking you to spend 2 hours with me at a time is a bit much. So I'm breaking up the natural dye adventures into their own videos. All right, so shall we get into it? So first of all, I'm just going to be pulling things off my pile, no particular order, but there's lots of them, so I need a sip of coffee. Hits the spot every time. So I'm going to move the book up there so I have some room. And the first thing I'd like to show you is my completed Study of Planet Earth blanket. So this was a crochet along run by the Crochet Crowd, by Mikey of the Crochet Crowd and Yarnspirations. It is a free pattern through Yarnspirations, and there is a free tutorial on the Crochet Crowd YouTube channel as well. It is broken down into weeks. There are some definite interesting stitches in this blanket. It is not, I'm going to rephrase that. It's not that it's not beginner friendly. It would be a challenge for a beginner. But if you follow the Mikey's instructions, if you print out the pattern as well and follow along and refer back and forth to it, I am confident that anyone can do anything, including this blanket. So let me stand up and I will show it to you. So it did turn out to be quite large, and I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to be able to get into frame. But is this the right side? Yep, that's the right side. Here it is. So it is a hexagon, and it starts from the center and moves out. It does start off as a circle and then changes to a hexagon. Each of the weeks was sort of a different stitch. So we have some bean stitch in here. We have just some single crochet, which was a nice break, and I quite enjoyed that. We have some cabling. We have some wave stitches, he was calling them, through the top here. And then it does finish off with a picot edged border, which I really like this picot edge. I think that is a fantastic edge. Now, Mikey said that he does use that edge on a lot of his blankets, and I understand why. It's fast, it's easy, and it does give a nice finished look to the blanket. So I am really pleased with this. Again, it was made in using Karen Big Cakes in the colorway Honey Glazed. So it's a color from last year, but I was able to get it at a really good deal for that, and it's sort of feeding my Grello addiction right now. So that is the first finished object to show you. The next thing I can show you is another free tutorial from YouTube, and it is by Nadia at Yarnutopia, and it is her spider web shawl. So there it is there, and as you can see, it does give a spider web effect. It is worked up in impeccable yarn by Loops and Threads in just black and white. It is all, I believe, double crochet completely through. It's got a single crochet border and then some surface stitching, surface crochet stitching to create the arms of the spider web. So again, that is a free tutorial from Nadia at Yarnutopia. For sure, go check her out if you haven't. Next, let me see here. So if you follow me on Instagram, chances are you've seen a lot of these things already, because I do post all of my finishes, well, almost all of them on there. So let me show you my next Halloween/Christmas wreath. So it is a Nightmare Before Christmas inspired piece, as you can probably tell. It does have Jack down here. I was inspired by a couple of wreaths that I had seen online or on Pinterest, and figured, hey, I can figure out how to do that. So I just covered the florist's wreath. So it's one of those foam wreaths that you get for doing floral arranging. I just covered that in 2-row repeats of half double crochet all the way around, and then sewed that on. I just crocheted in the amigurumi style, round circle, and then did the facial features as well. The black rose that you see on this side is actually a tutorial by Crystal at Bag A Day Crochet. So if you're interested in making a beautiful, beautiful rose, crochet rose, go check out that tutorial. It is easy and amazing, as all things Crystal does. And then I pulled out my pom-pom makers and did a couple of white and black pom-poms, went into my fabric stash, pulled out some black and white lace, and there you have it. Quite pleased with how that one turned out. Alrighty, next I can show you this little guy. So anybody who has seen Fantastic Beasts will hopefully recognize this little guy. He is Niffler. So he is a bit of a thief. He likes to steal all things shiny, hence all of the jewels coming out of his little pocket, and he has a diamond in his hand. This is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's by the designer Mary Smith. It was a fairly easy amigurumi to do. The toes were a little bit of a challenge. The fingers were a little bit of a challenge, but I like the way that they go together. There is not as much sewing together with this one as there are with some of the amigurumis. But yeah, so I think that one turned out quite well. I've often thought that this character must have been inspired by a platypus. And the yarns that I'm using for the amigurumis are all just stuff that I've got in stash. And my last amigurumi to show you is actually Mr. Harry Potter. This is part of a package of amigurumi patterns that I found on Etsy. And the Etsy shop is Mindunia. I will link it below. Fabulously detailed little poppets. So the nice thing, or the neat thing about this is the scarf does come off. Now the scarf is made using Loops and Threads wool-like, so it is a fingering weight yarn, and it does have fringe on top and bottom. His robes also come off. Robes and the body, for the most part, are, I believe, all impeccable yarns by Loops and Threads. The detailing on his sweater, the burgundy color is done as you do the amigurumi in the impeccable threads, but the yellow is actually more of the wool-like that very thin, and you stitch that on afterwards to give the details. The glasses I just made with some wire, baling wire that my husband had in the garage. But yeah, so that is Mr. Harry Potter. I am really happy with how this turned out. I also have the pattern from the same shop for Ron and Hermione, and I believe Severus Snape as well. So I plan to be making all of them just because they're so darn cute. Alrighty, that is it for finishes that I'm going to share with you today. So give me a few seconds and I'll be right back with a brand new pattern for you. All right, welcome back. So I have shown in a previous episode the shawl, the wrap that I am designing currently, and I am still working on that design. It's just taken a bit of a back burner. It's taking a lot of mental room to design that piece, and right now with my push to get all of my market makes done and my life updates, which I will get to, I really haven't had the mental place to be there. I did have to rip back a bunch of it and start the cabling over, and it just needed to take a rest. So I will get back to that, and I will have it released before this fall season is over. But for right now, it's just taking a bit of a break. But that doesn't mean I have stopped designing. So one of the things that I thought I would bring to markets this year are cup cozies. They've been quite popular for a little while now. But you know what? I really couldn't find a pattern that I liked. So I started playing around and making up my own patterns. So the first one I will show you is this one here. So first of all, the little printouts, I did find a shop on Etsy where you can get these little printouts. You download the file and then you can print them onto cardstock and use that as labeling and marketing. And I think that's fantastic. I will link the shop below. There are quite a few of them though that do it. Oh, excuse me. Yarn is falling. All right. So this is the first cup cozy design that I came up with. And it is, yeah, based on a back bar crochet pattern. Fairly simple to do. This one is a little bit fiddly because you are dealing with back bars and a single crochet stitch. So it can be a little bit fiddly, but they've got a nice little button to finish them off, and that is the first of them. But the one I'm most pleased with, the one that sort of felt like a bit of a stroke of genius to me, is the next one I'm going to show you, because I don't know what they're called, if they're called the same thing everywhere, but we call them sleeves. You know, can I get a sleeve for my to-go cup? And I thought, sleeves? Well, we have sleeves. In fact, we have sweater sleeves with cute little cuffs, and I could make that. So I did. So this is my other design that I worked out. So it is actually the bottom of a sleeve of a sweater. So it works, it's the ribbed cuff and then into the stitching for the sleeves. There is a little bit of increasing going on to allow it to hold onto the cup and to stretch nicely and not get overstretched. It has a little button on it just to finish it off. But this is something I am extremely proud of. I don't know, it just felt like such a stroke of genius. Now, chances are somebody else has already come up with this. I mean, that is the nature of crochet. You can only combine things in so many ways so often. But I have written up the pattern for both these pieces, and I plan to release this pattern, these two patterns for the cup cozies, as a bundle pattern set on September the 16th. So that should go live in my Etsy shop and on Ravelry on September the 16th. So if you're interested in picking up that cup cozy pattern, I would invite you to take a peek closer to September 16th. Alrighty, so let me see, what else can I share with you? Well, as I alluded to earlier in the podcast, and as those of you who have watched my video that I released last week, my Adventures from the Dye Pot video, you will know that I have begun to get into natural dyeing. It's something I've always been interested in. I've actually always been interested in how they used to do things. So I did go through a phase where I was making soap, and not, you know, heat and pour glycerin soap, but true lard and lye in the kitchen with goggles on soaps. And it was incredibly interesting. It's like having a chemistry lab in your kitchen. And I'm finding that natural dyeing is no different. It is very much a chemistry lab going on in my kitchen. So I will invite you once more to take a peek at the last video I released, where I take you step by step through my process for hand dyeing yarn. And it was done with dandelion and with petunias out of my garden. There were some surprising results, we'll call them. Not necessarily what I had expected. But let me show you to this point the colors that I have managed to pull out of my natural dyeing. So first off, this first skein I will show you is a light pink color. All of this yarn is DK weight in a 75-25, so 75% merino and 25% nylon, and it is all superwash as well. So this is done with avocado pits. The yarn was mordanted with alum, but there were no modifiers used. And again, I know that some of this terminology may be terminology that you're not familiar with, but if it's something you're interested in, go check out my other video. So along with this one, same dye day, was this one. And this one, the more browner tone, that's actually avocado skins. So I've just been saving my avocado pits and avocado skins as I'm consuming my avocados, scrubbing them off really good so that there's no green left, and saving them for the dye pot. So again, mordanted with alum, but no after modifiers used. My next experiment with avocado will involve the use of modifiers. And that will change up the colors again. Two more skeins to show you. So this first skein is a light buttery yellow color. I'm quite pleased with this. It's a very subtle color, but very pretty nonetheless. And it was the one done with dandelion. And from the same dye day, very similar color tone, but a little bit greener in its final presentation. We have the skein dyed up with petunia, purple petunias. Gave us sort of this yellowy, greeny type color. So those are the colors that I have managed to pull out of the natural dye pots to date. I will be doing up another dye session tomorrow. I'll be recording it as I go. And that video should release probably on, so I'm looking over at the calendar, the 8th or the 9th, so Sunday or Monday. I should have completed all of the steps to the dye process and be able to show you 2 more skeins. If you are interested in watching that video, please tune in either the 8th or the 9th, and that will be live on the YouTube channel. So watch this space. I can do a little bit of a shop news and a shop update. So give me 2 seconds. I need to grab a couple of new bags. And I do apologize if you can hear some outdoor noise, but I do have the window open because it's a warm fall day today. Alrighty, so I'll be back in just a few moments. All right, so some shop updates. So the shop I'm speaking of course, is my Etsy shop, which I will have linked down below. Please feel free to go take a look at what I have to offer in the Etsy shop. And my Etsy shop is evolving. It is in the process of evolving right now as certain products, as either the ads expire or as they sell out. I will not be putting more of them back in, and that is finished crochet items. I've thought long and hard about it, and I'm really going to be shifting the focus of my shop to be one that concentrates on tools for the maker. So it is going to continue to have the fabric project bags that I've been doing for a while. We'll continue to have patterns, so I will continue to release my patterns through that channel. It will also have my hand-dyed yarns, which I will start listing for purchase, and it'll be kind of neat because you can sort of watch them being dyed and be able to purchase them as well. And finally, I am going to be adding my stitch markers back in there as well. So very much a maker's shop as opposed to finished items. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop making finished items, and I'm not going to stop selling those finished items, but I'll really be concentrating on stockpiling finished items, still listing them through Facebook, Marketplace and that sort of thing. But for the most part, they will be stockpiled throughout the year for my fall and winter craft shows, so that there's less of a push right before the shows to try and get things ready so that I've got a good inventory going into the shows. I do have 4 confirmed shows now going into this holiday season. The first one is at the end of this month on September 29th. I will be at the Tri-Woods Community Centre here in Calgary doing a fall / Halloween market. Then the next market is out in Strathmore, and that is their fall / Halloween market, and I believe that is on October the 5th. Then I do have a newly confirmed market for mid-November out in Okotoks, which is just south of the city. Very much south of the city. It's not that far from my house, actually. And then back out to Strathmore at the end of November. The market that I was looking at for December has fallen through on me, so I am hopefully maybe going to get one more market in December. But going forward, I don't want the pressure that I've been feeling to try and right in the months right before the markets get everything ready. I'd rather it be something that I can be working on throughout the year and just, you know, working on what I want to make and what I want to create and putting those into my stockpile. Making sure that I'm giving myself the time to do my designing and whatnot as well. So, a little bit of a shop update has happened. I do have a couple more of the Halloween bags in the shop, but these ones are being sold as a bag set. So the first one is this one here. And again, if you watch me on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen these already. So this bag, it's one of my medium-sized drawstring bags. It is fully lined and interfaced, so as you can see, it stands up all by itself. Outside, it has this great apothecary labels. So there's Witch's Brew, there's Ghost Vapor, there's Pumpkin Potion and Bat Wings, and all those kinds of fun things. The casing and the base of the bag are in this ticking stripe. And then the interior of the bag and the handle are in an orange gingham. And the second part of that set is my newest pattern that I'm doing, newest design that I'm doing for my bags. And that is my Notions pouch. So it's a little bit of a different shape than you'll see for most Notions pouches, rather than being long width and not very deep. I've gone the other direction and made mine a little bit deeper. Of course, this can be used for anything you want it to be. It would make a great little cosmetics case, all kinds of different things. But it is a zippered pouch, so it does have the zip closure. I prefer doing drawstrings on the bag where there's going to be wool involved and yarn involved, because if you get your yarn caught in a zipper one time, you'll swear to never use a zipper again. But for the Notions, it's nice to have a zipper to keep everything in there. And then it has the outside is done in the apothecary and the inside is in the ticking stripe. So it is fully lined. So that is offered as one set. And then the second set that has gone up Same sort of an idea. So it has a main bag, which is this one here. Again, it is one of my medium-sized bags. It is lined and interfaced, so again, can stand up on its own. And it does have the drawstring. The base is this gray, dark gray, which I think plays really nicely with this apothecary design. And this is the full-on bottles from the apothecary shelf. So we have, you know, one that says poison and spider oil and bat juice and what's that one? Moth powder, viper venom. So all different kinds of concoctions. The top of the bag, the casing and the handle in this case are done in a green striped fabric, and then the inside is a green and beige gingham. And to round out that set is another of my accessory, or my notions pouches. Oh my goodness, the words. So again, the exterior of the bag is the same as the exterior, top exterior of the project bag, and the inside is done in the green stripe. And again, it is a zipper bag to keep all your notions in place. So those two bag sets are up right now in my Etsy shop. I would love for you to come on over and take a look, see what I've got up there and what I've got to offer. Anybody who has dropped by or purchased in the past little while, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Your support means the world to me. Alrighty, so let me see. I got to everything I wanted to talk to you about. The cup cozy design will be going up soon. If you're interested in my Etsy shop, when you go into Etsy, if you find my shop, I'll link it all below. If you hit the, if you favor the shop, you will get notifications of when I do my shop updates. Now, some people out there are really, really disciplined and can, you know, do these major shop updates where they're doing, Ella at No Catchy Name is amazing. She will do up like 28 bag sets and post them all at once. I just don't have the patience for that. The listing process for Etsy is quite extensive, so it takes a long time for me to get all of my stuff together to list. So what I tend to do is as I create things, I list them. I don't do big shop updates. Now, maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe it's not, you know, building the hype and getting lots of people out all at once. But in order for me to do it, I need to do it in small, manageable chunks. And that's how I'm managing to do it. So all that to say, if you'd like to be notified when I put new things in the shop, just favor the shop and you will get notifications. When you log into Etsy, it will have some notifications for you. Excuse me one moment. Alrighty, so I'm going to step away one more time, and when I come back, we will get into my maker's plans and my life updates and all of those fun things. If it's not something you're interested in, by all means, feel free to leave me now. But if you'd like to hear a little bit that's been going on in my life, stick around and we'll get right into it. All right. So as anybody who has watched this podcast for the past little while will know, I have been having some health issues the past little while. A badly deteriorating knee joint that I have been struggling to try and get medical attention for. I am now on the wait list to end all wait lists to even speak to the next orthopedic surgeon. But I've gone into all of this in detail in previous videos, and I don't want to rehash all that. Let me just say that things have not gotten any better in the pain department when it comes to the knee. And I've had to make the very difficult decision to quit my day job. It was a very difficult decision because I loved what I did. I was a bookseller by day and a crocheter by night. Books are another major passion in my life, and literacy is something that I am a strong supporter of early literacy. And unfortunately, I physically can't do my job anymore. I can't be on my feet. I can't be walking around the store. I just can't do it. This is going to cause a little bit of hardship. Oh my goodness, of course a car is going to go by. I need to continue to work. I need to continue to contribute financially to our household in order for us to maintain the lifestyle, lavish as that may be, that we have. I am finding it very difficult for people to look beyond the face of a resume. So my background, my education, I did go to university, and I took education. So I'm an early childhood educator, however, so a preschool teacher. And I actually taught in preschools for, 14 years before, the wind is picking up. I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background. But I taught in preschools for about 14 years before I decided I needed a change. I was a little bit burnt out, and I went into retail and moved up quickly in retail into management positions where I was in the last position I held. Unfortunately, what I'm finding is that when people look at a resume and they see early childhood education, they immediately say, oh yeah, you babysat kids. And it is so much more than that. And then they look at retail, and, retail is one of those very under-respected positions, which is amazing to me, because anybody who has worked in retail knows how hard the job truly is. The skills that we have, especially when you hit that management level. I mean, we're running businesses. The last store I managed at was a $10 million store. So it's not like it's small amounts of money. These are big stores, upwards of 80 employees at Christmas time. So, there's a lot that goes into it. And unfortunately, I'm finding that that's not necessarily recognized outside of the retail world and outside of the ECE, the early childhood education world. What I am trying to get into right now is more of a administrative position where I can be off my feet. So I am now job hunting. Yay. Not my favorite thing in the world. As I continue to search, and my resume is going out there and I am trying to find that position. In the meantime, however, I am focusing heavily on markets, on my Etsy shop, on getting some patterns out. The amount of money that I can bring in is not a living income, but at least it will be something to help contribute to paying the bills until I find myself once more gainfully employed. So that is my big life update. I have worked at this past, the job that I just left, I was at for 6 years and 10 months. So just shy of 7 years. And the position before that I held for 5 years with a different retailer. So I tend to stick with companies for a long time. Change is not something that I am terribly well equipped to handle. And couple that with, chronic pain, and it can sometimes put you in a pretty funky place mentally. So, I've been very proud of fellow podcasters that I have watched who have made a point of addressing mental health in their podcasts, and, that we shouldn't be ashamed to talk about our mental health and our struggles. And this is a struggle. This is a struggle for me. Change is not something I'm real good at. Just the uncertainty of where my future is right now is kind of scary. I like to be in control. And I'm feeling a little out of control at this point. So bear with me if the schedule of podcasts is a little wonky or a little, doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason. Know that that's part of it. I am truly, truly an introvert at heart. I have a hard time joining things. I have a hard time being part of the group. Yeah, and this is my way of staying connected. I love the community that we're building. I love the community that I'm part of. And yeah, I just ask for your patience as I work through this rather difficult period of my life. Yes, because paying bills and, buying groceries is kind of a necessity. Yeah, fun times. All right. Well, not wanting to leave everything on a down note, I just wanted to again thank all of the new subscribers who have come my way. I did notice that the Secret Yarnery. If you haven't watched that podcast, I've watched on and off for a couple of years now. Very, very fun, especially when she does her out and about kind of videos, where she takes you around, because of course she lives in Africa and it's very different than here, obviously. She even took us on a safari one day. It was really, really cool. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance to watch The Secret Yarnery, you really should check it out. But anyway, she has compiled a list of, I believe it's over 400 different crochet related podcasts that are currently being filmed. That is astounding and amazing. And to all the newer podcasters out there, I want to say welcome to our community. It is a lot of fun. But of course, there's also been a little bit of bullying and whatnot that's been happening in our world the past little while. And to those people, I say, you know what? Life's too short. Let's just choose kindness. Let's choose to be kind to ourselves. Let's choose to be kind to each other in all things. Life, I have to say it, life is just too short to be caught up in some of the stuff that goes on. We just need to embrace each other, lift each other up, be each other's champions, be each other's cheerleaders, be each other's friends. We have the ability right now through this type of media or medium to reach out across the world and form friendships that would not have been possible without YouTube, without the internet, without this kind of global reach. We are living in amazing times. We need to, I think, focus on the amazing things and on the good things that are going on right now, and maybe less of a focus on that other stuff. Let's celebrate what makes us the same and what brings us together as a community, instead of continuing to search for the things that make us different, or, to feel like it's okay to bully people online. Yeah, that's just not okay. And there I am, back at a down spot. See, that's where my mind is right now. So I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much if you've stuck around this long. I so appreciate it. Got the new pattern coming out on the 16th. Have another video that should be up either Sunday or Monday. And until then, until we see each other again, take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Thank you so much. Bye now.